Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of ninaribena's Art Journal Prompts and More. It's October week 2 and so time for me to do another recycle, repurpose, reuse stroke use your scraps project. I want to try and go with some kind of an autumn theme this week, and I have to say that this brown packaging paper is speaking to me, so I think I'm going to pull that out of my journal and work on this week. So this is what I've got. I've got this page here, that's the inside double page spread, and this is the back. I think I'm going to work on the back, and I've got just a piece of tissue paper that's come out of some kind of packaging, and I think I'm just going to cut a piece off. So I think we'll have this piece here, like this, and I'm just going to scrunch it up and glue it to the top of my page. I want to leave some of that paint that I've got going on at the background, but this at the top is just too much. So let's screw it up and see what we end up with. And I'm going to glue it onto the page, something like this, and that will just tone down that page significantly. So I've got some matte Mod Podge, and I'm just going to put a little bit of it into a tub here and water it down. I just find that Mod Podge on its own is just too thick and too sticky, and needs watering down. It just behaves better that way, so we'll just water it down just a tad, not too much. Let me just grab a paintbrush. This one here will do. So we'll give this a good mix. There we go, like that. That will do nicely. And then I just want to glue my piece of tissue down to my background. So I'm going to apply my glue over the background. Let me just grab a piece of deli paper actually. That will just get stop everything getting stuck to the background. And I'm just going to apply some paint like this. Not being too precious about it. There we are. And where's my tissue paper gone? And I'm just going to glue this down. Now, I don't want it to be too flat a line. I can always add some more glue to this. Let's add a few peaks and make it look a bit hilly and bumpy, perhaps. And just press it down. And I want these lovely creases. And so now I'm just going to have to be patient and let that dry. So I'm just going to apply a bit more glue here at the bottom, just to make sure that that has stuck down well. There we are. And I think I'll just hit this with my heat gun. So the glue is now dry, and I think I'm just going to tear it off like this. I'm going to use my metal ruler just as a guide, and oh, let's see if it's dry enough. Just about. It probably could have done with being left for a little bit longer. Just try and tear the bits off like this. If I've got a few straggly bits, then you know that's okay. There we go. And I'll do the same on the other sides. This is what I've got so far. I really like the texture I've got on the top here, but I think I'm just going to fold this over like this, just to make this side thicker, and also just narrow the page. I've got an idea for a focal image. I do want to apply some white gesso though, just to tone the whole of this background down. So I'm just using the De La Rowney Graduate acrylic. Mine has gone all lumpy and bumpy, but you know that doesn't matter. So I'm just going to apply messily some gesso all over the background like this, and you see it's just picking up all that wonderful texture. I just really like that. So we'll just go over the whole of the background, including the bottom. Some of it will still peek through because, of course, you know, and you can see actually here that some of it is reactivating because it's obviously water-soluble media that I've used underneath. So, you know, I like the unknown. I'm just going to go with it. So I'm just going to let that dry and we'll see what that looks like and what we end up with. There we go. Got an idea for a very, very simple tag. When we were doing the bokeh technique, I did a video where I shared which white inks worked the best. And I've got loads of backgrounds left over. So I'm going to use one of these and I'm just going to grunge it up a bit using some frayed burlap distress ink. Just to grunge around the edges. Here we go, we can bring it into the page just a tad like this, and then I've just got some really simple things to make the focal image with, again sort of out of my scrap stash. And then I'm just going to go around the outside like this as well, just to darken it around the edge to frame it. And then we'll start building just a very simple scene, again out of scraps. There we go. I'm happy with that. We can blend it in a bit if we want to. Just want to create a really simple scene on my tag. I've got these die cuts here. These were sent to me for the embellishment challenge a couple of years ago. I think it was Katerina, my loaner, that sent me these, and I think those work really nicely on the background. I'm just going to glue these down using a glue stick. They're only thin, so you know they don't need any heavy type of glue, so I think this will work quite well. Let's glue this one down first. Something like that. There we go. And then I can glue that one down there. I just want that one slightly higher up because my focal image will cover this area here anyway. So again, we'll just glue that one down. This is a really simple tag, but you know, that's what this journal's all about. It's just simple, quick projects, you know, nothing too busy, nothing too complicated. So I think I want that. In fact, I want those to overlap there. So I'm just going to glue that one down like so. There we are. I use a clean piece of deli paper just to press that down firmly, just to make sure that it's well and truly stuck and it's not going to lift. There we are. And then I just want to use this embroidery fox as my focal image, which I just think looks really cute on that very simple tag. Now this was out of a set that I picked up, oh goodness me, I think this was from the Motorcycle Museum in a set, but you could use a stamped image or even print a fox out if you wanted to do this kind of thing. I mean, you know, you could, there are so many things you could use. I just think this is really cute. It's been in my stash for ages and I want to use it up. Now I think this is an iron-on embroidery fox, but I'm just using Fabri-Tac to glue it down in this case here. So I think I want him to go there, something like that. How cute! Just really simple, but that's just so effective. Now I love how cute that is, but just to make it look a bit more interesting, I'm going to mount it on another piece of craft cardstock and I'm going to do some stamping in the background. So again, I'm just going to use my distress ink. This is from the Tim Holtz Entomology set, and I'm just going to ink or stamp around the edges. It doesn't have to be too dark, too pronounced, just a little bit of detail all the way around like this. And then we can pop that on top there like that, and you know, look what a difference that makes. Now before I glue it down, I'm just going to line my tag up and just cut off the corners like this. I'll do exactly the same thing on the other side, just so that the outer is tag shaped as well. There we go. Perfect, really happy with that. And then I'm just going to glue this down with some Fabri-Tac. So, oh, it was Brilliance ink I used for the white bouquet. It was Brilliance ink. I wrote it on the back at the time. So we'll just glue this down. Just a small amount of glue, not too much. There we are. And just mount that nice and evenly. That's what that looks like. I just love the subtle detail around the edges. I just want to ink with some more ink, slightly darker this time. This is Walnut Stain, which is a Distress Oxide ink, again, just to frame it. Really like how that looks. And then I'm just going to punch an eyelet. Now I'm going to grab my Crocodile, the larger hole punch, eyeball it, that's about the centre there, punch a hole, and then I'm just going to grab an eyelet. I'm going to use this weathered brass eyelet here and just use my Crocodile just to punch it into place. This is a really invaluable tool, I think. Squeeze that down into place, and there we go. So I just need to find some kind of fibres just to finish that off. Have a look through my stash, and I've got this bag of 9 assorted craft ribbons that I got last year for £1 from the Works, and you know, the colours here you can see are just absolutely perfect. So I think I'm going to use this polka dot one here. So let's have a look. How much do I need? I only want it to be short, so I'm just going to poke that through. Go on, in you go. Oh! And poke that through like that, and then I can give it a trim. I like how that looks. So we can just trim that like that. And that's that tag finished. So this is how my finished tag looks. I love that. And this is the background that I want to place it on. I'm just going to put a piece of scratch paper just to protect the underside. And then I've got some oil pastels, chalk pastels, not oil pastels. What am I talking about? And I just want to try and develop some more of this colour back in, but just in a more subtle way. On the background of my piece, just using, you know, nice autumnal colours. So we'll use some yellow as well. We can add some of this in. Nice autumnal colours. We can maybe have some lighter yellow like this. I really like how that looks. And I'm going to need to spray this with some kind of fixative just to hold these colours in place. And I think I just want to leave that be like that. I do want to add some brown into the background just to highlight all the texture here. Just look how gorgeous that looks. I love that. That is exactly what I had in mind. Really, really happy with that. And then I'm just, as I say, just going to have to spray this now with a fixative. You could use hairspray. I have a commercial fixative. I'll show you that in a second. But I just think that is a really nice backdrop, all made out of scraps for my gorgeous, gorgeous tag. How cute! Before I spray, I'm just going to blend the top just slightly, just to add a bit of depth of colour. I love how that looks. And I think I'm just going to leave that be, and I'm going to give this a spray with, I've got the Fricks pastel fixative, so I'm just going to take this to a well ventilated area and just give it a couple of coats. So that's what my page looks like. You can see that that's not going anywhere, that's sealed that nicely. I've inked around the edges as well with some more of the Distress Oxide in Walnut Stain, and I just want to mount my tag on the background, something like that, and I just think that makes a really simple page, all out of scraps and you know, leftover junk pieces. So again, I'm just going to glue that down with some Fabri-Tac. Here we are, and we'll have that about there, I think. Cute, cute, cute. So I want to start working on the back now and try and make this cohesive and get it to work together. I think what I'm going to do is add some more of this scrunched up tissue paper just to the back of the piece here. So again, we'll just screw that up, and I'm just going to glue this on just to this piece here, because of course I've got this pocket here anyway, so you won't see underneath. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold this like that, just so that I don't get any on the other side. So I'm actually going to fold this over like that as well, just so that I've got a straight edge to work with. I can have another piece of deli paper in there like that, just to protect that, and then that's the area I'm going to glue my tissue paper down to. So I've watered this down with a few squirts of water, and again I'm just going to apply my glue like this, not taking too much care over it, just applying enough so that it's going to stick down, and I'll do exactly the same as I did before. So I've got my scrunched up piece of tissue paper, so I'm just going to stick that down, and as soon as that's dry, again I shall just trim around the edges, and that just gives me a backdrop that's cohesive with the other side to start working with. To make another piece of artwork to go on the back, and I think I'm going to use this as my backdrop. This is called jute net ribbon. I got this on clearance when my local floristry wholesalers was closing down, and I think I'm going to glue that on to the background like that. So I'm just going to trim this here just so that it's more manageable. I think that will look quite fun as a background. So bring in a piece of deli paper, and again I'm just going to use Mod Podge, watered down Mod Podge, just to glue that down. I want quite a lot because this is quite thick, just to make sure that it's going to stay in place. And then I think I'm just going to have to weight it down to make sure that it stays put. I think that would be quite a fun background. You could use string for this, and you know, just make sort of like a lattice pattern. So I'm just going to glue that on like that, and then I'm just going to stick another piece of deli paper on top and just weight that down, there we go, with my bottle of Mod Podge, and I can use maybe some black gesso as well, like that, just to hold it in place until it's firmly stuck. That's stuck down now, and I'm also going to give this a coat of white gesso, just to grunge it up a bit. Not being neat, we can just pounce like this to get it in the nooks. I'm not going to trim around the edges either, I think. I'm just going to leave it be. So, there we go, that will do. Just like that. A piece of a background left over from an art journal page I did this time last year. If I can find it, I'll dig it out. I'm just, in fact, let me just grab another piece of deli paper. I'm just going to apply glue stick all over the background of this piece of craft cardstock here. These are all from scraps. These are all leftover bits. My glue stick has run out. Let me just grab another one. There we go. And I'm just going to stick the piece of background down. that way up, I think. Let me just peel that off and just line it up so that I don't waste any. We'll see if I can use these scraps then as well. So I'll just make sure that that's glued firmly down. I can use a credit card to do that, and then trim around the edges, and we'll see what we can put on there as a focal image. I want something whimsical to go with the image that's on the other side. So I'm just going to trim that with my scissors, if I can find them. Here we go. I just want to brighten up this background, so I've grabbed some gel pens. I'm just going to, these are the Kaiser Craft pastel gel pens that Rain sent me in Happy Mail. I really like these. So we'll just add just a few details like this, as I say, just to brighten everything up a bit. I've got various different shades here because, for instance, I'll go around the orange one like this, really loose and scribbly as well. Don't want to be neat about this at all. I can use, where are we, one of the blues to maybe add some scribbly lines around the circles like this perhaps. And so as soon as I've finished that, I shall be back. I tinned my background up with some gel pens, and I really like how that looks. I'm not sure which way up I want it. I think that way. And again, I'm just going to use a chalk pastel just to add some colour to my background like this. And again, just as I did with the other piece, I'm going to need to seal this with a spray fixative just to hold these pastels in place, because otherwise they just rub straight off. There we go. And again, I can blend that in with my finger like this. I love how that looks. I think that just gives me some really interesting texture. And as I've said, I'm just going to keep the stringy bits. Whoops, one piece has flaked off. That's okay. I'm not going to bother trimming those off. So I'm just going to go away now and spray that with some fixative, and that's how it will look. I think that's really fun. That's dry now. And so I just want to attach my little focal piece. I did end up trimming it on the right hand side just because these pieces here weren't even, and it was just really bugging me. Now I do want to ink around the edges of this piece here just to frame it. I don't think I'm going to bother with the bottom piece, but I just think this will set it off nicely. And then I'm going to attach my fun whimsical focal image. So that's that there, like that. That looks better. And then I don't know whether you can remember, I can't remember whether it was last year or even the year before, I picked up some of these felt characters here. These are just Halloween characters from Aldi or Lidl. I think it was Lidl. And I did a piece last year, and so I think I'm going to glue that down like that. I just think that's really fun, and these need using up as well. So what have I done with my Fabri-Tac? As I say, I'm just going to use Fabri-Tac to glue this down. Whoops, I've lost one of my beads. I'm going to have to glue that back on. So we'll apply some Fabri-Tac like this. Oh, and stick that down there like that. Let me just put my bead. I like having these bead dangles. They just look really cute. So let me just tie this in a knot. There we go. And then I can glue that down like that. I can put a dab of glue on the end as well to hold it in place. So I think I want that to go there. Again, I'm just going to glue this onto the background here with some Fabri-Tac. that should do it. Like that. So now I need to work on the page that I'm going to put it on. So let's have a think about what we can do with this. To keep it cohesive, I think I'm going to do the same to the other side that I've done to the back. So I'm just going to give that a coat of gesso. Where's my paintbrush disappeared to? Here's my gesso. So again, just, you know, really loosely going over that. And then I shall do exactly the same with the chalk crayons again, just so that it mirrors what I've got on the other side. So I'm just going to give that a quick zap with the heat gun. So we'll use the brown on the top again. I don't know what I'm going to do underneath yet. I haven't decided. And again, we'll use those same reds, oranges and yellows that I used before. Just to tie everything together. And again, I shall give this another spray with my fixative. Is that the same? It's not far off, is it? Is that the same red that I used, or did I use a slightly deeper, more crimson? Add that border around the edge like this. There we are. And then where's my focal image? I've lost it. Here we go. And so I just need to decide what I want to do with the background. I'm just adding some brown here. I'm not going to gesso this part here, just because I want the contrast, but I do want to tie it all together. So we'll just go over like this, and I'm going to have to give that a coat of spray fixative. I really like the way that, because I didn't add the gesso to this, that I've got a contrast going on, and so then I can glue my piece down something like that. So I'm just going to go and spray this first. I'm just going to glue this down again with some Fabri-Tac, and I think I'm going to call that done for this week. So there's my autumnal pages for my journal. And I love the way that this journal is just working its way through the seasons. So how do I want it? Like that, I think. There we are. Popped my 2 pages back into my journal. I flipped the page, of course. It was on the right hand side. That was the left. But that's the joy of having elastics, because I can change things around if I want to. I just absolutely love the texture that I've got going on with these 2 pages. This just looks like trees in the background, so you know, perfect for an autumnal or even wintry themed background. Really like that, and I just love this with that string stuff as well. So I look forward to seeing how everybody else decides to interpret the recycle, repurpose, reuse, stroke use your scraps prompt this week. Let me just give you a flip through the journal again. I've still got this central piece here to do. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet, and I've still got this page here. But of course, you know, I can add to this at any time, and it may well be that I don't completely finish it this year. I really don't know. So that's what we've got so far, and of course these are the pages that I've got left. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. So take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.